Day one of the Olympics, and Breakingviews, of course, have their own take on the Games. They say the investment that's been made is paying dividends. We'll find out why from Chris Hughes in just a second. Also, why Barclays' surprise profit isn't as juicy as it looks. And Mario Draghi's bond buying hints won't end the crisis. With me is Chris. It's your piece, Chris, on the Olympics. I was just looking at the Economist piece on this. Britain is a nation of self-deprecating cynics. Seems very much to be the context here. But we're all pretty happy right now.
Look, the world knows that the UK has somewhat lived down to expectations on the way that it's handled this in the run-up. There have been some pretty embarrassing glitches in terms of security and all the rest. Even the British had been kicking the British over the handling of it. But suddenly something has changed, and I think right now, the mood in London is they probably won't care what the world thinks. Everybody in London is clearly up for it.
Well, it feels a little bit like a party town right now. I've got to say, wandering around, and it's a good feeling.
And actually, things have come into place at the last minute. The city is still moving. The army stepped in to sort out security, and as things stand, people are ready. And look, financially, you can say that a deficit-cutting country, what are they doing spending something like $14 billion
Yeah, but we didn't know that, 8 years ago?
We didn't know, but it's still a burden, and you can see that there's in our, just to be economic about it, the current GDP figures do suffer because Olympic construction is falling away, and the regeneration benefit from all this building in East London, it's pretty speculative. It's not by any means certain that actually will in future be somewhere where businesses want to relocate to. So if you want to be downbeat about it, you really can. But the reality is that right now, it is generating a kind of feel-good factor in the country. That has been a short-term boost to the economy. It's if only the authorities obviously thinking, if only we could bank this, if only we could bottle this upswing in confidence we've got right now.
Okay. Barclays. What's Bob Darman think when he sees these numbers? 'Cause it must be bittersweet in a way, because these are good numbers, but of course the context is very poor and the problems continue.
Yeah, they're good-ish.
And
the headline number on the pre-tax profit and the net result actually have come in well ahead of expectations. That said, the returns aren't quite as good as presented. I think they're about 10% return on equity. If you actually were to look at the results in the context of new regulatory capital requirements, those returns would go down. So it's not quite as good as the market reaction might lead you to believe. Plus, we've got more bad news from Barclays. It turns out that the finance director and others are under investigation over the way that the big rescue recapitalisation was handled back in 2008. So we're getting more kind of non-financial bad news coming to hit the bank too. So, I think that I'm sure that Bob is probably looking at the results and thinking, look, decent operating performance, but they're not results to be quite as proud of as the numbers as a market reaction.
Very quick word, Chris, on Mario Draghi. Markets got overexcited, it seems, by this. You feel the markets got overexcited by this because actually it doesn't change much. And let's face it, the Bundesbank in the last half hour or so have come out and said, look, they're still firmly against changes in the way they do things.
It's one thing to say we'll do all that it takes to shore up the euro and the eurozone, but what does that actually mean? And the hint is really that there will be quite aggressive direct intervention in terms of ECB bond buying. The thing is that Draghi has really has set himself up here as the saviour of the zone, if you like. He can't just say, we'll do whatever it takes and then not deliver.
Well, he said we'll do whatever it takes within our mandate, and he said that a number of times before.
Look, if you want to do, you say, well, there's nothing new here, okay? But it's had a resonant effect, and the trouble is, what does it really mean? And we'll see.
Yeah. All right, Chris, many thanks for that. Chris Hughes. All these stories and more available on the Breakingviews website. You can also watch our US Breakingviews show every day, 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 BST. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.